What's the best way to give directions? To make our directions the most effective, there are two main things we need to pay attention to: our words and our voice. Today we'll talk about some common mistakes and some easy fixes to make your directions more successful. Let's start with our words. The most common mistake when giving directions is focusing on what we don't want instead of what we do. These are the kind of directions that begin with don't or stop. Don't climb on that. Stop rolling on the floor. Learning instead to focus on the outcome that we want gives us the opportunity to problem solve instead of punish. So think about what you want the child to do. So in practice, don't climb on that turns into keep your feet on the ground. And stop rolling on the floor can be sit on your bottom. We want to make sure our directions give useful information that helps our kids be successful. Now let's talk about voice. The most common mistake is using a passive voice instead of an assertive voice. Well, what's the difference? With a passive voice, the goal is to please others and avoid conflict. The two most common passive phrases are starting directions with, can you please, like, can you please clean up? Or ending directions with the question, okay, like, it's time to clean up, okay? This was something it took me years to improve. When I was teaching, I really wanted my kids to like me, and I felt like using the passive voice would make them like me more. I also worried that if I gave directions and they said no, that would bring up some kind of conflict that I might not know how to solve. So what's the problem with using the passive voice? When we ask, can you please, we're not giving a direction, we're making a request. And a request implies the child has the option to say no. When we use the passive voice, we put our need to avoid conflict over the child's need for useful information and clear expectations. One of my biggest challenges with this is that using the passive voice can feel nice, and I didn't want to seem bossy by telling my kids what to do all day. Then I learned about the assertive voice. If the goal of the passive voice is to avoid conflict, the goal of the assertive voice is clear communication that tells kids exactly what we want them to do. The assertive voice has a tone of no doubt and comes with the intention of giving kids the information they need to be successful. To find your assertive tone, try this. Out loud, say two facts, and then in the same tone of voice, give a direction. It might sound like this. The sky is blue, the grass is green, put all of your toys in the basket. As with learning any new skill, before we can change our behavior, we have to reflect on our current habits. This week, pay attention to the words you use, and notice if your attention is on the things you do want or the things you don't want. If you want to learn more, check the description, where I've left an article and a video with more information.